Welcome to the Sacred Commerce podcast, our weekly-ish podcast.
Just because the last one was 3 years ago. The first one.
Ish. Today we want to look at our relationship with Egypt, which is where we really came across the concept of sacred commerce back in 1993 on our honeymoon. And since then we've been guiding every now and again what we call sacred tours, sacred travel, and taking groups of spiritual pilgrims back to Egypt to connect with the energies there and the beautiful temples, but really the spiritual current, which is where the merchant priesthood was born, and so much of our work. So we wanted to share a little bit about why Egypt and what it inspired in us.
So, shall we start by saying where we found sacred commerce? The temple of Isis?
Yes, no.
Where was it?
Let's get the temple right.
I just want to make it so much to be in the temple of Isis. No, it's not.
He's very, very prevalent in the temple of Isis.
Awesome.
There's a lot of statues of the god Bes, and the god Bes is the god of commerce.
Well, because that's how you get there.
Yeah.
So we're following a tour, a group, and we were the last people of the group, 20 people or 10 people. And Rowan, this is before phones, I think.
1993.
She needed to change the film, the camera. So she stopped, and I stopped with her. And the group kept talking. And we found ourselves alone. The cameras filled up with films, and suddenly two men come. Two Egyptian men dressed in the Galabiya. And one of them came and said, "Give me your camera. I want to take a picture of you and your wife on each side of the stone." And I'm saying, really? Yeah, I'm gonna keep. And those guys, you look around the sacred site trying to rip off tourists, So I said, "No, thank you. We don't want anything. Come on, you stand here. Your wife stood here. I want to take your picture. Give me your camera." "No, I'm not." And when he went for the third time, I switched to my Arabic and I told him in Arabic, "خلاص حل ما معنا مصاري. Leave us alone. We have no money anyway." So he got so infuriated, so indignant. "You think I'm after your money? I'm just saying you stop here and she stop here and you give me your camera." Now, by now I'm scared for my life, so I gave him the camera. And he takes the picture and give us the camera back. I thought he was gonna run with it, but suddenly the group come back. So, "Where are you guys?" And so we told them the story. And so the Kevin, our tour guide, looked at the stone to see what's on it. And he said, "Do you know who's this?" And we said,
"No."
And she said, "No." He said, "This is God Bes. This is the god of business. This is the one who were the head of the merchant priesthood of old Egypt." And me and Rowan looked. We got together because we wanted to spiritualize business, because we want to bring emotional intelligence and organization, and to find that there was really not only a god for business,
but actually a whole merchant priesthood and
whole
teachings
movement and
everything. So that sparked in us, a good 10 years of just researching, thinking about it, developing the concept, and all of that is what in the end became the book Sacred Commerce. And so now, over the years, a lot of people have wanted to travel there with us, especially because when you travel there I feel very lucky to have gone to Egypt and to the Arab region with Ayman, with somebody like Ayman, who comes from this culture, who understands the language, when you're a Westerner, sometimes you don't understand. The culture is so different. It's one of the more different cultures. And when you go with people that are like family, and our tour group there, the people that arrange our tours, they really create it like a family situation. It's so beautiful. And so every time we've gone there and taken groups there, we all bond, and it's like a community for the 2 weeks. Yeah, like a family for the 2 weeks that you're there. And it really is that energy of the pilgrim, where you're going to connect with the spiritual current of the place, and to get things from your past lives, or heal things, whatever it is. Everybody has their own very clear
why do
intentions.
people like to go to sacred sites? What's there? Why do they gravitate towards it? They go to Machu Picchu in Peru,
I mean,
Stonehenge
there's a
in
few
England.
reasons. I mean, I think one of them definitely is spiritual heritage. Like when you have a strong connection to that, and it's one of the lifetimes where you've reached a high level of spiritual enlightenment.
Yes, spiritual heritage is the heritage, the Celtic, the Indian, the Chinese, the Buddhist. It's a heritage where you spend most of your spiritual lifetime there. So let's say you were a monk, you are into Buddhism, you do the you spend a lifetime studying Buddhism, and next life, another life, like 10%, 20% of your lives are in there. So to tap on that heritage in this lifetime will accelerate your spiritual growth.
Exactly, it can propel it forward.
Like mine, for example, is Celtic. Both of us heritage is Celtic. That means we spend a lot of our important spiritual life in the English country and so on. Actually, now we were just thinking about it. We got married inside Stonehenge, so we were in a sacred site when we got married.
But definitely for everybody that comes on the tours, that that interaction with their heritage or their spirituality from Egyptian lifetimes is definitely always awakened and always activated.
And a lot of healing goes through.
A lot of healing, and it's categorically a life-changing adventure. I mean, for us, it definitely was. The first time we went, but even the subsequent times we've went, every time it's been like a major kind of spiritual, upgrade almost.
Yeah, we become wow.
Yeah, and what's also really very special about the way we do it is that we go into all the temples there's a lot of early mornings. Those of you that are interested in joining us on the next one, because we try and go there before the tourists, so that we have the energy of the temples to ourselves, and we can really tap into them, and we do a lot of silent meditations and just tuning into the energy of the place. And all of those temples in Egypt were built with very, 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 very high intentions. Like, they're built along sacred geometry, they're built to activate and to hold certain resonances, and those, even these thousands of years later, still hold true. Like, you want to share with them about the...
Yeah, see, and the old Egyptian, it was one of the first civilization after the Sumerian, or with the Sumerian, and it was a primitive society. So the people from Atlantis came, Isis and Osiris, and tried to help the primitive society coming from Atlantis, a very advanced society. So they introduced agriculture, they built a lot of those temples, and a lot of those very wise people, enlightened Atlantean people from Syrians also, put in their energy, put in the stones, around the stones, in the area. So now this room, for example, of Sekhmet, when you enter there, you cannot but feel reverence, like, oh my God, this is something important. You feel like in front of God or something. I mean, she is not God, but the energy that is still there. So,
it's extraordinary. It's
right.
The most awake statue.
And what
I've
happens in quantum physics, they tell us everybody has an energy field, everybody has a resonance. Our resonance is made out of our feelings and thoughts and beliefs and all of that stuff. This is our light. So we are made out of light, and we always going from dimly lit to enlightened. The more when we improve our filters and release the low frequency energy, and we infuse high frequency energy, then we raise our resonance. And when you have two resonances that come together, one goes to one goes to the other one, or they meet halfway. But a very high frequency, like the frequency of the God, will not come down your way. So when I am here, and the resonance of Sekhmet, let's say, is the resonance of mercy. when I'm with that from that resonance, I'm pulled, especially if you surrender, you let go of your ego, your control, had to be perfect. When you let go and you surrender, take me, then you get pulled magnetically easy to that frequency of mercy or healing or whatever. It's known already, many people know Lourdes in France. You go there and they go, why? Because there's the energy of healing. People who go there spend 2 days in the waters and things gets better. And there's many, many places like this. So pharaohs and gods are different. Pharaoh are people, gods are energy, are resonances. Okay, just so I'm grieving, I'm sad, I need fun, you go to God best, the God of business and fun, because they lift your energy, your resonance. They don't know how they used to do it. They were just there, pray for the God, but they are sitting in that energy there, So that's why if you take it scientifically and if you take it spiritually, that adventure there can be really can set you on a new course, a new
trajectory.
a new trajectory of your spirituality, and you'll be able to touch different resonances. Actually, I am such a pig, spiritual pig, you could say. I take samples of my DNA, like in the past, haven't done it for a while, but like if you dig in Egypt and many temples or in Stonehenge and Machu Picchu, you'll find a sample of my DNA. I cut a little bit of hair, I bleed a little bit, and I nail, you put them together and bury them. That's sample of your DNA. And through radionics, which means transfer of energy frequencies through the airwaves, I'm receiving wherever I am that resonance, coming towards me. Now, so if you take it scientifically and spiritually, you'll find that going to those temples, it's not just for beautiful, huge statue and so on, and especially if you have set intentions to do this or do that, then they can be extremely useful.
And going with a whole group of other spiritual pilgrims is, the last group we took, the resonance was so high because their intentions were so clear and beautiful. They came with such purpose. So it's a joy to do these sacred journeys, and we're going to actually be doing more in the Middle East. We're going to add Lebanon, Syria and Jordan at the end of this year. So we would love to share the magic of this region with you. It's also an incredibly important region in terms of the overall resonance of the planet. And us bringing their resonance here is also important to lifting the overall resonance of this region. So it's a beautiful dance that happens between the individuals and the temples.
Yeah, this part of the world created the most problem in history. It's riddled with shame and pain and years of
and still very embedded in religion, and so as free people walk through the temples, that resonance is felt.
And the disruption is felt big time here. I think in the next 5 years, the whole area will be completely different, and its resonance will be much, much higher because young people are awakening, in groves, and they will resonate together to create a much nicer, hopefully heal thousands of years. Those guys in this area have been fighting for 7,000 years, from the Akkadian to the Assyrian to the Phoenician to the Egyptian to the Babylonian to this, the Crusader came, the Christian came, Moses came. Halas, we have enough. We have created 5-6 religions, all kind of put us in trouble. They all fight with each other, but there is a new awakening. There's new awakening. I think younger people are waking up that this system does not work anymore because they all have to die. كلهم. Everything start fresh, not fix things anymore. Cannot fix things anymore. And we just need to start a new resonance.
So we would love to invite you to come and be a part of that. Just be in touch if you're interested. Thank you.